Hi, it's Jessica Eaves Mathews. If your business is online, your brand is already global, whether you planned it or not, because anybody can buy from you. Here's a question that most founders don't think about until it's too late. What happens if someone in another country starts using or even registers your brand name before you do? It happens more than you think, and it can cost thousands or even force you out of international markets that you were planning to expand into. Today, I'm going to explain exactly how international trademark protection works, when you need it, and how to secure your brand globally without wasting money. Here's a big misconception that your US trademark only protects you inside the United States. It doesn't stop someone in Canada, Europe, China, or Australia from registering and legally owning your brand name in those countries. And if they do, they can stop you from selling there. They can demand you remove your website, content, or domain, and they can even hold your international trademarks hostage and charge you to buy them back. This just happened to a client of mine about a year ago, a cosmetic brand that was manufacturing in China. Because they had a website, they were already global. Anybody from anywhere could buy from them. And someone in China saw the brand, might have been somebody at the manufacturing facility, and applied for a trademark in the name, exact like their logo and everything in China. And luckily, we were clued into it, and I had handled the trademark work for my client in the US. And so we had to go through the process of filing an opposition in China to the registration of this other trademark. This can happen, and you have to be aware of what's going on around the world. And ideally, you want to have a trademark lawyer that is, experienced in international trademark law that can help you and make sure that you're not going to get blocked from expanding your business internationally. If you've ever dreamed of expanding your business internationally, or as I said, even if you're selling just on a website, including Amazon or Shopify with an international reach, you need to think globally about your brand protection. The good news is you don't need to file a separate trademark in every country, at least not manually. Most countries, including the US, are part of something called the Madrid Protocol, an international treaty that lets you apply for trademark protection in multiple countries through a single application. You start by filing your US federal trademark. So you need that first. You got to file for federal registration in the US first. Then within 6 months, you have this 6-month priority timeline after you get that application on file. You can file one Madrid application and designate up to 125 member countries, members to that Madrid treaty. And each country's trademark office is going to review and approve the application locally. So you're going to get separate reviews in each country, but we only have to submit one application. And there are separate filing fees also for each country. But it's efficient, cost-effective, and gives you the flexibility to expand strategically without starting from scratch in each country. Here are the signs that it's time. You're already selling or shipping products internationally. Maybe you have clients in other countries that are already buying from you. You manufacture, like the client I mentioned a minute ago, or license your products abroad. You plan to franchise, partner, or expand overseas, or your brand name or logo just has real global potential. If any of those things apply, it's time to act because trademark rights are first to file in most countries. That means the first one to file for registration, which is not the way it is in the US. And so it's really important to stay aware of where your goods are being sold and where you want to sell and where you're manufacturing so that you don't risk losing this window of opportunity. I've seen businesses lose their international names to opportunists who monitor US brands and file them overseas. This happened to my one client, and we're in the process of that opposition now, so I can't tell you yet what's going to happen, but it's a shame that we have to deal with it at all. The key to smart global protection is planning, not panic. Start with an international trademark strategy. And obviously, you want a good trademark lawyer to assist you with this, but this strategy is going to look at 3 things: where your business is currently selling or manufacturing, where you realistically plan to expand in the next 1 to 3 years, which countries are high risk for copycats or brand squatters like China, India, or there are even parts of Europe where that's a risk. And then we prioritize and protect strategically so that you're covered when it counts. Obviously, you probably can't file in every single country in the world, so we need to be strategic about it. And remember that you can't file internationally unless you already have or are in the process of getting US federal registration. We can do separate applications in each country, separate and apart from your US application. That is a much more expensive and time-consuming process. This advice is specific to the Madrid Protocol. Here are a few mistakes to avoid in the process. Number one, the biggest mistake is waiting until after you've gone global because it might be too late at that point. Number two, if you're using foreign manufacturers or distributors and not using IP agreements with them, that is a major red flag. And if you work with a manufacturer or distributor that will not sign a written IP agreement, do not work with them. Assume, this is a third flag, don't assume that your US mark protects you elsewhere because it doesn't do that. You have to file, every country has their own trademark and their own protection regime that you have to adhere to. And then don't ignore translation or localization issues. Your mark might mean something different, very different abroad. Make sure when you're naming your brand that you are looking to see what it means in the countries that you plan to be operating in. Chevy had a car named Nova, and Nova, I think Nova means something in Spanish like slow or something about poor quality. You want to make sure that you're not picking a name that maybe in English sounds really great, but in another country might actually be derogatory or an insult. So we need to make sure you plan before you expand. If your business has global potential, or if you're already selling or manufacturing internationally, it is time to make sure that your brand is protected everywhere that it lives. And I help founders and business owners map out global IP strategies all the time, from US filings to Madrid Protocol registrations, so that you can expand safely and confidently. All you have to do is set up a call with me, a free consultation, and let's make sure that your brand is safe no matter where in the world you grow. And while I've got you, stay tuned for my next video, the 4 biggest international trademark mistakes and how to avoid them. I want to make sure you understand, once you filed your US trademark and your business is growing, how to protect yourself globally and how to avoid these 4 trademark mistakes that can cost you your brand, your customers, and your peace of mind. So stay tuned for that next time.